chalked out, Dr. Ashish Banerjee requested us to, in fact, bring in Dr. Gadvi as the first speaker, and then he comes in as the second speaker.
Okay.
So he has requested us to do that. So that changes which we have done, Father. So Dr. Gadvi will be talking first, and then Dr. Ashish Bishash will be talking, and then the platform shall be open for question answers.
Fine. Oh, very good. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. Good afternoon. Welcome. Nice to have you. How are you all? Good? Keeping well?
Yes, sir. How are you?
Fine. Fine. What about you? Okay.
Just so in the lockdown period.
Yeah. We have with us Registrar Sir is there.
We already acquainted with him.
Yes, okay.
And Father Vice Chancellor has just joined.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Father. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to all of you.
Good afternoon,
Good afternoon,
Father.
sir.
Good afternoon. Yes, Mario, sir, you
Father,
can
with
begin.
your permission, can we begin the program?
Yes, we shall. We shall begin. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Father. Thank you so much, Father. St. Xavier's University, Kolkata is proud to host national webinar, Academic Libraries and Sustainability, a Global Perspective and Challenges in the New Normal. So good afternoon, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Reverend Dr. John Felix Raj, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Reverend Dr. Sebasti L. Raj, respected Registrar Professor Ashish Mitro, respected Dean and Director Library Reverend Dr. Susai Nayagam, our distinguished panelist Dr. Geeta Giris Gadvi, Associate Professor and HOD, Department of Library and Information Science, Gujarat University, distinguished Dr. Ashish Biswas, Librarian, Victoria College, and Academic Counselor, Indira Gandhi National Open University, faculty members, fellow librarians, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a momentous occasion for St. Xavier's University, Calcutta, to launch this knowledge-sharing vehicle through virtual platform entitled Academic Libraries and Sustainability, a Global Perspective, Challenges in New Normal. Today, this program is being graced by eminent speakers associated with some of the leading temple of learning to dwell on a subject hit by a tiny yet dreaded virus classified as COVID-19. May I request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Reverend Dr. John Felix Raj, to enlighten us with his words of wisdom. Father, please.
Thank you, Mario. I want to, of course, welcome all of you, particularly the two guest speakers. Thank you for making yourself available to us and then speak to us this afternoon. I'm sure your inputs will definitely inspire and enlighten all of us. I also want to thank our library director, Father Susai Nayagam, our librarian, Mr. Tarun Bishash, and all the library staff for organizing this webinar on the significance of library, the importance of library, and the challenges that we face today. As we say, face is the index of the mind. Library is the index of any educational institution. You pay a visit to the library and you know what type of an institution it is. When you pay a visit to the library, the service that you get from the library staff. We have just started a library just last 3 years, and I must thank our librarians for making the library so rich within a short period of time. I think they almost have about 12,000 books and volumes. During this pandemic, we have kept the library open. We in fact wanted the students to come, at least a couple of them, so that they could use the library. But the trend today, not because of the pandemic, but today the trend is there are less and less footfalls in the library. I suppose it is because of the online electronic facilities that our students have. They want everything in their hands. They want everything instant, which is good, of course, definitely. But at the same time, we have so many volumes in the libraries, but hardly some people use them. So this is the problem that we face today. I'm told the libraries are going now, of course, online, and books and volumes and journals and magazines are available online, and students are using them. While this is going on, of course, definitely the use of the library is significant and important for at least the research work that our students and faculty members do. If there are no good footfalls in any library, I don't think it's a healthy atmosphere in any institution. So I'm sure today will enlighten us on this. Once again, I want to congratulate the Library Department of St. Xavier's University, Kolkata, and also our Master of Ceremony today, Mr. Mario Lewis, for conducting. I am told a large number of library staff, faculty members, and even students are joining today's webinar. And I'm very happy that so many are interested to learn about the library and the facilities that it offers and the challenges before libraries in universities and colleges. And I'm sure today's session will be very fruitful. I wish you all the best, especially all those who have joined this webinar. Definitely this webinar will be a fruitful one. Thank you very much, and God bless all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Father, for blessing this academic initiative. Now, I would like to request our Honorable Dean and Director of Library, Dr. Susai Nayagam, to deliver the welcome address. Dr. Susai Nayagam, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Mario. Thank you. Respected Father Dr. Felix Raj, the Vice Chancellor of St. Xavier's University, Kolkata, who being an educationist, translated his vision, mission, and dream into reality in establishing St. Xavier's University, Kolkata, for the betterment of the students in and around the country. Respected Professor Ashish, our registrar, who will be giving the inaugural address. Our honorable guest speakers, Dr. Ashish Biswas and Dr. Geeta Giri, and dear participants. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all for this webinar. Academic libraries play a vital role in disseminating the knowledge widely among the students and the scholars. It is correctly said that academic libraries are full of ideas, perhaps the most dangerous and powerful of all weapons. Because when we explore a library, we find the resources to overcome all the barriers in our pursuit to acquire the knowledge. If the academic library resources are promptly and systematically used, acquiring knowledge will be easy and viable. Sidney Sheldon correctly said, libraries store the energy that fuels the imagination. They open up windows to the world and inspire us to explore and achieve and contribute to improving our quality of life. Hence, academic libraries are not only just keeping a good collection of books or rendering good service, but rather building communities to share and care. The main objective of an academic library is to provide the universities, the colleges, or the school communities with a wide range of materials that are consistent with the institutions, curriculum, research needs, etc. It inspires every individual from school to research. However, on this pandemic period, every student's dream is shattered. He or she is disappointed, discouraged, and are denied in imbibing the knowledge and growing in wisdom. They are not able to inculcate the values that are transmitted through eminent teachers in the classroom situation. The peer groups interaction over a cup of tea or a coffee, or freely running around the world with a ball, or exchanging views on interested topics, etc., all have become a distant dream for the students now. They are locked up at home within four walls. The teachers struggle to disseminate the knowledge. The parents are frightened with regard to the health hazards of their children. It is at this time the academic libraries have to play a constructive role in infusing in them a positive outlook and sustain the spirit of every individual. We need to find the ways and means to give meaning to the teaching learning process. Today, we have eminent speakers who will enlighten us with their valuable ideas and share with us the tips to go forward in this pandemic time. Professor Ashish Mitra will surely enlighten us with his inaugural address. I wish all of you all the best. God bless you. Take care.
Thank you, Father, for giving us an insight of the status of library during this pandemic period. Thank you once again. Now, may I request our respected registrar, Professor Ashish Mitra, to deliver the inaugural address, please. Professor Ashish Mitra.
Thank you, Mario. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Reverend Dr. John Felix Raj, our Dean and the Director of the Library, Reverend Dr. Susai Nagam, our distinguished speakers today, and all the participants. Today, it is very important to select this kind of webinar because what our Honorable Vice Chancellor rightly said at the beginning, that any higher educational institution or any educational institution, library is the face. Now, conventionally, we knew that the face as the physical face primarily, but now it has changed. What we are talking about this new normal, now the face is digital face. And in this period, how effective we are when students are not able to reach us physically, how can we take this service to the students? That is the very important fact and the very important challenge. But what I always believe, that whenever there is a problem, there will be some new development. Because it is rightly mentioned that necessity is the mother of all inventions and discoveries. What we did not think about or did not give much importance before this pandemic, now we are changing. It is throwing new opportunities to us. Why? In different ways. Number one, as we said, Father mentioned that the students are not interested to come, many of cases, which is very true. But now students will not come. We will reach the students. So we have to find our ways to reach the students. And it is also true because in many cases, since they are sitting home, so what to do? Let us try to access. Because the teachers are teaching. How do we supplement this study? How do we supplement this teaching learning process? Library service becomes important. And from local, we can go global in this pandemic period because it is a digital era. So in this digital era, we can connect, we can have access because the main point lies here. But before that, another challenge we have, which is of course a very important task for the teachers, to motivate the students to visit the library even digitally. I am told that the students are searching for books, journals, materials more frequently as compared to a time when they were coming to the institution physically. Why? Because there are weekly assignments and they have to prepare the assignments. They are not getting direct contact either with the teacher, only digitally they are getting the contacts. They are not able to discuss sometimes with the friends. So they are trying to find these resources digitally. So these electronic resources are becoming more and more important for the students, and that is the opportunity to take our library service there. And what we find that many of the libraries in our country, in our state, including our university library, are giving much more importance on this development of electronic resources and making these resources available to the students. Our big challenge is to make these things available, that is access. And also another challenge is to motivate the students to make use of these kinds of services.
I'm just switching it. Yeah, I'm just switching it.
As
I was with father, I just
our
came
Vice
in now,
Chancellor
I'm just switching
mentioned,
that.
our reading room and the library are now
The
open
laptop to dago, हम लोग
because there may be requirement by few students who want to come, and by maintaining the COVID protocol, they want to sit in the reading room and prepare, and we are ready for that. That is true. Also, we are developing our e-resources and we are giving much more importance on that, and that is very, very important for all of us today, because as we know that even for any kind of inspection, any kind of visit by any regulatory body, where do they go? Where do they spend a long time when they come and visit these educational institutions? They go to the library. And also they check nowadays, not only nowadays, means for the last few years, I'm not saying only during the pandemic period, they check how enriched we are in developing the e-resources. As we know, as all of us know, UGC has different kinds of these programs. We also have this InflipNet. We can register there. So there are different opportunities. And this is the time to make best possible use of these opportunities. Because this pandemic has given us this opportunity to concentrate there and to make use of all these services which are available. So this kind of webinar will enrich all of us, because our intention is to be for the students and to make the best, to give all kinds of academic services to our students. So with that perspective, today's webinar is very important, and I'm already told about our distinguished speakers and their knowledge, their experience, their wisdom are going to enrich all of us in a very significant manner. And of course, every such program is a learning process for us. After the end of this program, we know that what we knew before the program, we have added few more things. And that is the real achievement of all such programs. Because the new ideas are generated, new thoughts come, we get new insights through these kinds of program. And even this pandemic has created an opportunity. Earlier, we did not think about this kind of webinar. And today is a weekday. Not many of the participants could not be present, could not come. Even we are getting resource persons from other end of this country, from east to west. So this is the advantage. So we are taking advantage of this today's pandemic and the significance of this kinds of webinar. So this is also an opportunity. Thank you, madam, and thank you, sir, for being with us today. And we know, and on behalf of this university, St. Xavier's University, Father Vice Chancellor has already thanked you. So I also thank you so much. My regards to both of you that you are spending time with us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for those kind words. Now, Silicon Valley venture capitalist Roger McNamee, who's the author of The New Normal, in his book entitled Great Opportunities in a Time of Great Risk, coined the term New Normal. He writes that technology has had a profound effect on our lives in business, in government, in education, and even in our personal lives. Because of this impact, working with and using technology became our new normal. McNamee maintains that this new normal provides great opportunities to think out of the box in dealing with changing times. T.S. Eliot, a renowned modernist poet, has once remarked, I quote, "The very existence of libraries afford the best evidence that we may yet have hope for the future of mankind." Celebrated professor of library science Ed Miller has said, I quote, "Librarians are the bridge between people and the information they need." To revisit that analog a few decades later, think of a time when librarians suddenly found that the river beneath them had been mined by hostile forces. In the middle of 2020 March, librarians for the first time in history found themselves without their most basic tool, that is, a physical space to share the treasures of their culture. All academic libraries and most public libraries had already given their patrons some kind of access to online journals, ebooks, audiobooks, as well as streaming access to audio-visual products. Now, may I request Dr. Geeta Girish Gadhvi, Associate Professor, HOD, Department of Library and Information Sciences, Gujarat University, to share her experience on this topic. Now, let me, in fact, give you a short brief of Dr. Geeta Girish Gadhvi, who literally needs no introduction. They are all well known in the field of academics, but it is definitely my honor and privilege to introduce Dr. Geeta Girish Gadhvi to all of you. Dr. Geeta Girish Gadhvi has obtained her PhD from Vanasthali Vidyapith, Jaipur. She has been in teaching profession for the last 2 decades, inspiring young scholars to fulfill their dreams and aspirations in the field of academics. Her area of interest is LIS education, knowledge management, and professional ethics. May I request Dr. Geeta Girish Gadvi to throw some light on the topic that we have chosen for this national webinar. So it's over to Dr. Geeta Girish Gadvi, please.
Thank you. Mr. Bikram, Mario, for a kind introduction. Good afternoon to all. It's my privilege actually to be with you because it's a very good opportunity for me to meet and see legendary professionals and legendary academicians of St. Xavier's University of Kolkata. Respected Vice Chancellor Sir, Professor Mitra, Dean of Arts and Social Studies, Dr. Susai Nayakam, and University Librarian Dr. Tarun Bishwas, my companion Dr. Ashish, and program moderator Mr. Mario, and all attendees, those who are attending this webinar from every nook and corner of this wonderful country, India. It's my great privilege and honor for being with you. And today I would like to share some of my ideas regarding this new normal situation and how we can cope up with the library services in this situation. Because COVID-19 has disrupted and disturbed our life very, we can say that we all are very disturbed. We never thought about this type of situation, and now we are losing our faith to meet each other, but in person, I think. So let me start with my presentation. I will share my ideas with my presentation. May I start now?
Yes,
I am audible and visible?
Yes, ma'am. You're audible and you're visible as well.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
এটা এই ছিল এপসন এপসন করা হয়েছে ওটাকেই আমি বলছিলাম দেখো সাউন্ডের বাক্স চেঞ্জ করো এপসন থেকে ওটা রিয়েল টেক করলেই হয়ে যাবে ওকে I'm very sorry.
Within my desktop, I have lockdown per time. Actually, a folder with lockdown time.
Facebook is now fine. Just have a look. Yeah.
It is true that nowadays students are not coming to the library or footfall are very less. But again, it's our duty to encourage and inspire students to come to the library and use material, whatever we have. But again, what they need or what they are actually, you can say, what they are used to use this information. So we have to do that also, and we have to provide the material which they are actually well versed with the technology. So my presentation will be on effect of COVID-19, role of librarian, role of library association also, And I will discuss something about new normal and universal preparedness for new normalcy and 5 golden rules to stay safe in this COVID-19 situation. So, what COVID has affected us? We know that social disturbance, loneliness, we are facing loneliness, health, poor immunity, or we can say that psychologically people are disturbed. They are also not comfortable with loneliness. So, it is also the effect of COVID-19. Economically and socially also, we are very, very affected. Education, we know that badly the area of education is affected. Culturally also, because we don't have any celebration, not religion celebration, not cultural celebration, not even social celebration, so that we are disturbed. We need, because after all, Indian and we public are socially connected with each other. We would like to share our emotions with each other. So, what education mean? Because I am talking about academic library. So, first of all, we will say that what education and why education is related with library. Education is about owning the skills of critical thinking and analysis. That's why we need users or students in library. It is about lifelong learning and about helping children become self-driven learner. Because when they come to the library, they will know how to use the literature, how people have narrated the literature, and how we use it the literature. Education main purpose is to transmit to the new generation the heritage of the past with the accumulated wisdom and preparing it for a present and the future that the emergent needs of society and individual hold before us. Education has a basic human need, opens up unlimited possibilities, calling for responses that are constructive, creative, and challenging. If we look into the Indian concept, according to Swami Vivekananda, because I'm talking at the platform of the Karma Bhumi of Swami Vivekananda, the manifestation of divine perfection already existing in man. That's why we need education. Aurobindo considered education as helping the growing soul to draw out that is in it. The human being has that uh, soul which we have to bring out. Gandhiji said, by education, I mean an all round drawing out of the best in child and man body, mind and spirit. Whatever is there residing in the body of the children or body of the man or the human being, it should be come out from by the help of or by educating the people. Indian Education Commission in 1964 to 66 said education ought to be related to the life needs and aspirations of the people, and thereby made powerful instrument of social, economic, and cultural transmission. Because without education, the social transmission or cultural transmission is not possible. Now here the role of librarian is kept. So what they have to do? They have to accept the challenge, come out from the comfort zone, because you know that people have the image of librarian that they are working behind the screen, but now they have to come forward and they have to take some challenges, think out of the box, ready to work non-traditional activities, because Simply cataloging and classification is not the job of librarian. Right now, nowadays they have to come out with new ideas, spread positivity, because you know that people are very disturbed, and now we have to spread the positivity that hope is there, and we will be very soon. We will we will have the vaccine, and the universe will survive with COVID-19. Educate citizens for personal hygiene also. Work for social cause and customize your mind to work 24 by 7. Librarian has to work 24 by 7 as ATM, as bank are working. We never thought about banking sector, that bank will come to our doorstep, or the airlines will come to our doorsteps, and we will enjoy all these things. So now librarian has to go to the doorstep of the user also. Librarian should play a role of facilitator in terms of technology. Place and resources. Library place should be utilized as a maker space. Resources are utilized as a weapon for the wisdom of user. Collection to content provider. Learn to work with collaboration. One has to work with collaboration. Librarianship is a teamwork. Job of librarian never be a standalone job. It has to be a teamwork. Build up network of like-minded people. Maximize open access resources. Actively involved in information literacy and digital information literacy program also, so that people will come to know that what actually available in the library. You know that everybody said that why we need librarian, because everything is available on net, everything is available on Google. So this is the thing, that what is the importance of librarian? Everything is not available on internet, even though digital libraries are not the internet. The internet is not free. The internet or Google can complement libraries, but not able to replace them. Google can bring you, Neil Gaiman said that Google will bring you 1 lakh answers, but a librarian can bring you back with right one only. Libraries are not just books. Now it's a happening places also. Mobile devices are not the end of books or libraries. Need of information is shifted, not limited. It is shifted from print to electronic, but it is not totally removed or totally demolished. Eliminating libraries means cut short an important process of cultural evaluation, as libraries are the storehouse of our cultural heritage. How will we come to know that what Mohenjo-daro has, what Vishwabharati has, what Swami Vivekananda told us? So everything is stored in library. That's why it is our storehouse of knowledge. It is our storehouse of our cultural heritage. Difficult to judge authentic information on internet. If you search on internet something related to Vivekananda or Narendra, then you will find a number of such a result. But at that same time, if somebody is not knowing about Narendra, who Narendra is that, at that time he may or she may be misguided. The internet web is transient. Sometimes we will get the information. When next time when we browse, at that time we may not get the information also. Libraries can surprisingly helpful for right information at right time. Dr. Ranganathan said that libraries should provide right information at right time to the right user. And I added 2 R's in this, that right time also, then right cost at the right form and reasonable cost. These 2 R's are also incorporated in this. Not everyone has access to internet. At the same time, not everyone is afford books also. So society needs library and librarian both. So We know that second round of COVID-19 has started. Uh, Around the world, havoc is arise, and people are really affected with COVID-19. Second round of COVID-19, the government has introduced a new approach to monitoring and reporting the risk level of associated with COVID-19. The government had issued revised advice intended to minimize the risk of infection and break infection chains based on the following elements. Stay at home as much as possible, work from home if you can, limit contact with other people, keep your distance if you go out. At least 2 meter distance is advisable. Wash your hands regularly. Self isolate if you or anyone in your house have symptoms of COVID-19. Chartered Institute of Library and Information Professionals, CILIP, has a plan of COVID-19. In Great Britain, public health agencies and a number of sector organizations to develop and share detailed guidance on service recovery focused on current threat level, government and public health guidance, agreeing shared aims for phased recovery, undertaking a COVID-19 risk assessment, identifying priority users, creating COVID secure physical space, books and resources circulation and browsing, library-based events and activities, communication with service users, and communication with organizational stakeholders and leadership also. So again, they said that make a provision of e-book and e-resources to support users, including guidance on any existence to access. Promote reading activities which do not depend on the physical use of the library space. Consider creating virtual display. As much as possible, you just display your virtually so that people will come to know what you have and they will ask you to provide. Reading list should be updated and reshare subject list for students or for users and update website also. Ensuring staff are safe and feel empowered at work. When I'm happy to know that St. Xavier's University Library is open and it is working for students also and for the users. But again, we have to ensure that staff and the working our workforce should be empowered and they should feel that they are safe at the workplace. Providing well ventilated space for staff and customer both, and creating a clear and safe return and borrowing strategy. Somewhere I have seen that people have put the kiosk outside the library also, so that people will come and borrow their books. Opening up the library by removing soft seating arrangement. Seating arrangement should be removed and only hard seating arrangement or less seating arrangement should be placed so that people will not sit along. Sustaining a welcome environment so that people will come to visit the library and also they will feel that okay, if I visit the library, I will not affected with the COVID-19. Extending library services offsite and into large spaces also. Northumbria University has displayed their counter in the open space, and people will come to library and they will ask for the resources, and the library will provide them the resources also. Before we start, we should have a checklist, or we should check the what should we do, or what librarian should follow the instruction. Uh, Australian Library and Information Association (AILA) said that the health and well-being of staff and users should be the priority for library people. Preventing contact with those already sick, so that people will not infected, or the infection will not transmitted to other. Building plexiglass shield for issue counters. Plexiglass shield means a glass in between the user and the library staff, so that the infection should not be transmitted. Providing disinfectant for staff and visitors. Taking credit cards instead of cash. If you have to do the transaction, money transaction or monetary transaction, use card, credit card, not the cash or currency notes. Regular cleaning of should be maintained. UV ultraviolet sanitizers to disinfect materials after returning. China has started this thing. They have separate box, and they put the return material in that box, and within a fraction of time the material is sanitized through the ultraviolet sanitizers, and it is ready for reuse. So, what is new normal? Now we have to think of this new normal. Mr. Mario mentioned that what new normal things, and how it was implemented, or how the new normal word is coined. So the term was used in 2005 by Peter M. Sandman and Jody Leonard in relation to methods of manipulation of attitude of the public towards avian influenza. At that time, the influenza has spread out, and they need some new normal things. So they coined this word, and Paul Grover has quoted the term on 29 January 2009 for the cover story "Prepare for the Best," a column of Philadelphia City newspaper for community development. The new normal means a new definition of security. New normal means not something new, but it is a definition. It is for security purpose. It is new normal. Author Robert Helene used the phrase in his novel "The Moon is a Harsh Mistress" in 1966. So the new normal word is not that much new. It is very old, and decade back it was used by the author. New normal is definitely new, but not normal. We all sense that it will never be the old normal, and yes, it will be new, but we do not yet know how it will look like. We say normal, but people are unable to describe it, just some of its parts. We have an idea about some characteristics, but not enough to give a good definition. That means we are just about to build a new normal with lots of misgivings on how to go about it. So it is given by the new normal opinion in 5 years. So IFLA has given us a new normal strategy. So what they said, that the best way to understand and cope up with the new situation to develop this new normality is by sharing our experiences and perspectives, and continuing to pursue our values and missions. This will allow us to work better individually and collaboratively to achieve our goals. First of all, the vision is set out is as relevant as ever. Secondly, the IFLA strategy is born out of a perception across the globe, felt that we needed a document that would help us respond to change. It is not a strategy that is based on a static vision of the world, but rather one that is evolving and that requires us to evolve with it and ideally stay ahead of the curve in order to continue to provide vital service.
স্ক্রিনটা খোলা
Over half of a year in COVID-19, actually, we can say that the whole year we passed in this pandemic situation. So the uncertainty it has brought should not, however, be a reason to delay or postpone innovation or thinking about the future. That's why scientists are working for innovation and for the vaccine also. On the contrary, it is powerful argument for building our own capacity and resilience to respond as well as to drive positive changes. Something that we can best do together and with a campus of so that no one gets lost on the way. The existing of one global strategy and many regional, national and local ones aligned to this wider vision and mission could not be more timely than now. By Garland, the secretary of IFLA, said that so that this webinar is also one of the outcome of this positivity. For many, both in our field and beyond, the social cost of library closures has served to make clear how important our institutions are to the people they serve. So across the world, many countries have begun a gradual reopening of public life in an attempt to return a sense of normalcy to residents' lives and diminish the economic impact of the COVID-19 global pandemic situation. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the term new normal has been increasingly used to refer the changes of human behavior. The good news is that we have the opportunity and the tools to do better in this new normal situation. So now, thinking will be required to adapt to the new normal life post COVID-19. So going back to the way we were before COVID-19 is not an option. According to Mark Pringle, we cannot rewrite the chapters of history already past, but we can learn from them, evolve and adapt. The new normal may even be a better normal, certainly a different normal. So we should be very positive and we should think of positive conditions. We have faced many challenges as a human race and overcome them also. So this pandemic challenge we will get through, but we must face the fact that this will dramatically change the way we work, rest and play. So, shall we have a better normal? Okay. Do we have? Yes, we will. If you are looking forward to coming out of lockdown and returning to the old normal, think again. The current situation is tragic, heartbreaking and filled with fear and anxiety. However, there are thin silver lines of vaccine also. So during the of the lockdown period, ask yourself these questions about your version of new normal. What you have gained during this lockdown period, and now what we are doing for our society also. So again, if we have to face again another round of lockdown, and at that time what we can do. So first of all, we have to think that what we learn during this lockdown period, and now how we can face these new challenges. So which resources we should look for? National authorities around the world are working to gather information. At the global level, the WHO is really horizontal graph also, and on 7th of August was the high peak of in fact we are facing. I'm visible. Am I visible? Hello.
Yes, ma'am. It is
Hello.
okay. Okay. It's
Okay,
okay.
okay, fine. Because some pop-up is there. That's right. Okay. At the global level, WHO is releasing daily updates. This information is used to build a dashboard also, and we India has also have our own dashboard. The Center for System Science and Engineering at Johns Hopkins University is also maintaining a global map live, including figures on numbers of recovered patients also. This is a big used regularly in media reporting. I don't know how many of you people are aware about this global map live. If you just type global map live, and you will find the entire graph of COVID-19 infections. It is nationwide and worldwide also. Different approaches should be managed. How we can manage the library? Libraries in different parts of the world are facing very different situations, from broadly maintaining a full service to complete closure, and normal recommendations around good hygiene apply. Ensuring access to soap and water, warm water for sanitize. This is the most important things, that if we are reopening the library, or we are going to the normal situation, and we are working in group, at that time we need to provide user or the visitor a soap, warm water and sanitizer when they require, or at the entrance also the sanitizer should be there. Keeping surface clean, including toys and library computers also. Toys means if we have a public library and have a children area, then also we have to clean the toys. Ensuring that staff and users are encouraged to take time to recover if they feel ill or they have some symptoms of COVID-19. Providing pages with useful links to reliable information for users on their websites, and promoting media literacy fest with potential misinformation online. Right nowadays, it's a time to discuss about infodemic, because information overloaded, information misinterruption, information you can say the rumors are also spreading very fast. So infodemic situation is occurred, and we have to face this situation also. To minimize the services, or to start our library services, what we can do? Fully closing space and only offering the possibility to borrow or return books at the counter, or via book drop center or book drop station. Some countries are experimenting with drive-through pickup and return of books. Others are only allowing visitors who have pre-booked So you can have a token system, or you can have a call, or you can you have to have an appointment to issue the books. Implementing quarantine policies on returning books. At least 72 hours are recommended to quarantine the books, but China has started ultraviolet system, and they immediately uses return books. Implementing plans to offer remote services, for example, e-lending, e-learning, or support to remote teaching also. Nowadays, we are having this remote teaching, and online teaching is also available. So people are not wasting their time to just wondering. Finalizing the testing measures for all staff to work remotely and allowing those who can do so already. If they are doing, we have to call them for the library or for personal services, and others have to request for remain at home. In a number of countries, there are already steps towards lifting restrictions. We have seen that when we lifted restrictions, the second round of COVID-19 has started in Gujarat. The situation is very worst. Even in Delhi also, situation is very worst. So the second round has started, and people are affecting very badly. So that we need to educate them and how they will isolate themselves and follow the instructions. Starting to make plans for gradual reopening when rules, permissions, and library building and resources themselves permit this to happen safely, and making necessary changes to library policy. Carrying out a risk assessment focused both on library activities as well as wider situation can be key part of this. Again, what we have to do to reopen the library. So, advance booking or appointment should be taken, ticketing system should be followed, or token system should be followed. At the same time, one-way system of entering in the library or walking through the library corridor, one-way system should be adopted. Furniture should be very limited, keeping reading room closed, and continuing to postpone programming of celebration programming should be postponed. At the same time, IFLA has advised librarians to close the toilet also, so that the pandemic situation should not be occurred. A click and collect system, drive-through system should be used, developing protocols for how to respond if someone with symptoms is identified in the library or within the system. Ensuring that staff have the equipment and training necessary to stay safe, including consideration of screen if necessary, limiting contact as far as possible, and enabling work from home. It should be followed. Continuing to promote online services is most important. Communicate clearly about all if there is some new news or some new rules are taken place in the library, and also it should be uploaded to the website so that people will come to know what a new system or what new rules have adopted, and ensuring that plans are in place for a potential return to lockdown in case of new peak in infection rates. See, this is the situation. Now, new peaks are coming, so that we have to ensure that if situation will come and we have to again lock down, or we have to isolate our system. Material, how to handle the material. French guideline is available. National Library of China has also spell out some guideline. Library of Congress and Mexico City Library also. Mexico City has also given some guideline, but Mexico is not recommending issuing of books. And Library of Congress said time will come and we will have a very good period also. National Center for Preservation Technology and Training (NCPTT) in the US has produced videos on the NCPTT site on the subject of how to treat historical material, because library has very good cultural heritage, and we should be very much careful about restoration or preservation of our cultural heritage. Czech guidance also suggests that readers should be made aware of risk, with those wanting to able to leave a book for a few days before using it, and also borrowing period can be extended. People should allow to extend the borrowing period, and they should they can keep the books with them also for a long time. Social distancing and delivery services also get affected, and we have to look in this also. Social distancing in Ethiopia. According to one news story, libraries are being placed on camels to ensure children in lockdown receive access, so that children will get access of the books also. Clearly, in any situation, it is recommended and it is very important not to risk the health of staff, volunteers, and the users also, so that we can serve our students or our users after some time if we alive, or we can stay safe. So providing services remotely is advisable, and the U.S. Library of Congress Folklife Center is running weekly concert online, and the National Library of Morocco is providing free e-book, and Public Library in Aarhus, Denmark has put its digital content at the front of its website, so that people will come to know that what library has and how we can use the collection. Library services, Kota Public Library in India increased its online services promoting bibliotherapies, and Iraq Al Abbas Holy Shrine Library is providing a remote lending service for researchers, giving access to electronic resources. And UK Library Association has launched its National Search Service for new jobs. The Library of National Autonomous Library of Mexico has organized a virtual party of reading of World Children's Day, increasing the number of e-books that people can borrow at any given time, and by reassessing budget to pay for electronic content. University of Baghdad has launched training to help students make best use of digital tools available to them. Levadia Public Library in Greece has made its job search support service available online for free to help users. Helsinki, Sweden, the library has even brought in public health experts to offer talk on for users. The Library of Congress has organized virtual a virtual transcriptathon. Dutch National Library has teamed up with Writers Organization to provide an author on your screen service. The librarian of Peters Township, Pennsylvania, set up a Harry Potter themed digital escape room. Turk Public Library in Finland simply created morning coffee time for users online. So this way they interact with users, and they motivate them to face this COVID situation. TS State Central Library, Chandigarh, has been running not only a series of competitions for users, but also is sharing book reviews and other information through social media. South Africa are running video competitions to encourage young users to share digital skills with parents and grandparents. Ravindra Shadana Girls College, Assam, is giving service through WhatsApp group. This way, people have started using or giving the services to their users. ANCOS, Anatolian University Libraries Consortium, has identified resource sharing between its members through a single portal in order to accelerate access to research. The Federal University of Rio de Janeiro and Government Degree College in Jammu Kashmir, India, is providing consultation via WhatsApp and video conferencing. This is the way how people are willing to provide information or willing to give services to the users. The Hathi Trust is also allowing libraries to lend out digitized copy of books that they own in hard copy, so that people will get more and more books for use. At the same time, we should motivate users to open education resources, and we should provide them open education resources also, which provides access to material curated by a team of librarians. UNESCO's Education Division is also providing links to valuable educational resources. National Library of India, meanwhile, has developed search engines for OERs for researchers and children and young adults also. Here comes library associations' roles. So library associations should proactively work for their library professionals as well as the library profession also. The Australian Library and Information Association, Libraries Ireland, the Finnish Consortium of Public Libraries, and the Library of Information Association of New Zealand have negotiated agreements with national publishers and authors to ensure that public libraries can take story times online without worrying about infringing copyright. Canadian publishers have also waived license fee for their users. American Library Association has successfully argued for libraries to be included in economic stimulus package announced by government. Public Libraries 2030 in Europe is working with the University of South Carolina LIS schools to share training materials. The Indian Federation of Health Science Library Association, working with the Karnataka Library Association, is training its own members. This way, so many library associations have played their role also. Across the United Kingdom, Across the United Kingdom, Auckland, New Zealand, and Newmarket, Canada librarians are moving to work at contact center for people in isolation. Librarians have volunteered with community initiatives, or as in Mexico, are working for improve the quality of Wikipedia articles. See, this is the way librarian and the association will work to share their knowledge and share their information also. This way, so many library, Kansas library started by allowing people to use their Wi-Fi, and also Toledo, Ohio has donated its vehicle for public transportation. St. Louis Country Library is offering drive-through meal for children. Libraries in Yarra, Australia, as well as in Monash, Australia, are supporting food deliveries to vulnerable families also. Penn State University Library is giving laptops and other equipment out to students who would otherwise not be able to continue to study from home. So this way library is helping people. Australian Library and Information Association has declared a guideline to how to reopen the library and library services. Reopening will not mean going back to the way things were pre-COVID-19. It will mean putting in place the new normal approach to library services. This is what we would like to say. This way, I think I'm encroaching, Dr. Ashish. Dr. Ashish, I'm encroaching your schedule or your time. Shall I stop now? Ashish? Dr. Ashish?
Okay, ma'am, you can carry on. Just more 5 minutes you can carry on.
Okay, only 5, 6.
It's already over.
Yeah.
But okay.
Only 5, 6 slides are there. Okay, very soon I will complete. So we should be taking about the library as a boundaryless service rather than just as a physical service space, right? We are living in the age of the individual, so we must respond with highly tailored or customized services. Our approaches to customer service must incorporate choice and flexibility as they are now the expected norms. We need to get better at selling a few planets rather than the whole galaxy. So we should be very much clear about this phrase, and we should work in this situation. We should actively listen to our users at all times, providing as many opportunities as possible for feedbacks and discussion. This is very important. We miss this in Indian situation. We miss this feedback or every time. If we would like to have feedback, then we have only positive feedbacks. No negative feedback should be there. So we should encourage people to give feedback freely. We must target as much communication as we can to specific users or user group to avoid generic email. And if we do this, then personal contact will build up and personalized services will be given. We must offer seamless access to services whenever our users are and whatever device they would like to have. So this is the way people will look forward for the library services. We should regularly take statistics on everything to offer proof of value and ready for factual defense of our services. We should promote end results and success and avoid database names and library jargons. Our services should always be delivered at point of need. Offering a responsive agile service is key point. Our content should make an emotional connection with our users. We should always seek to innovate and improve our services for the sake of our users and our reputation both. We must seek to create moment of truth. We need to align our service with the goals and objectives of the institution we work for and regularly demonstrate that we are aligned. 5 golden rules I would like to contribute. According to the guidelines unlock system, one has to be aware with following things to reduce risk of COVID-19 infection. Be careful for your personal hygiene. Avoid public transportation. Nowadays, it is not possible because everything is open. But again, if possible, then we should avoid public transportation. Practice permanent use of mask. In Japan, people are not that much affected because they have the practice of using mask. So in this case, in our case also, we should use mask. Social distancing, which rather I could say that physical distancing should be maintained and boost up our immunity so that the infection will not come to you. If you think you have the personal power to reinvent, reform, and reimagine your own new normal, then you are correct, you do. If you think you don't have the personal power to reinvent, reinform, and reimagine your own new normal, then you are also correct. You can't do this because you know that some of the restrictions have been laid down for the new normal things. Either way, I look forward to seeing you on the other side in the new normal world where we will work, rest and play together again. Building a better world beyond COVID-19 requires leaders to imagine the unthinkable. Gloria, President of IFLA, has given this 10 steps towards becoming a great librarian and information manager. In this 10 steps, first is empathy, second is controlling the jargon or not using the jargon, strategy, build up a strategy, legal framework should be maintained. Change is the constant and we have to adapt the change. Teamwork is very much important. Evaluation of material, evaluation of services and evaluation of resources are also at the peak. Innovation is the main idea of today's situation. Update every time. We should update ourselves and we should keep ourselves updated. And last but not the least, happiness. People or your customers should be delighted by the services what you are given. Or he or she should not be simply happy, but he should be delighted by the services which we are providing. So create this mentality. We should learn transforming library services through the power of people, technology, and innovation. Thank you. Thank you very much for patient listening and giving me the opportunity for being your companion or discussing some of my views regarding this new normal things. Thank you. Thank you very much. Over to you, Mr. Mario.
Thank you very much. In fact, you have very well summed up the impact of COVID-19 mentally and socially. And you also spoke about the thought of Mahatma Gandhi ji as well as Swami Vivekananda. And you have thrown light on the importance of education, which was being coined by Education Commission. And what in fact was shocking to hear from you is that you mentioned that with the changing time, as banking and airlines are reaching out to their customers, they are going to the doorstep. A time has come when the librarian should also do that. And the librarian profession is going to take shape of 24/7. Though because of impact of technology, we are all using, in fact, social network. Google is one point answer to all our questions. So Google should not supplement. In fact, Google will simply supplement, but Google cannot replace the temple of information which is there in any academic institution, that is the library. And you also spoke about some marketing tools in order to make the service rendered by the librarian. It should not only one-way traffic. In fact, the experience has to be customer delight. So that's really spoke a part about the marketing part of it. And then you also shared with us some CSR activities being initiated by various institutions all over the globe. And you have also thrown light on, in fact, the practices which are there nationally as well as internationally. And we all heard about quarantine about individuals, but it was very interesting to hear about quarantine of books in China, which you said has started 72 hours quarantine, and those books are being sanitized by ultraviolet system. Thank you so much. It was indeed pleasure having you with us and for throwing so much light on the subject. I'm sure our participants who are there have acquired a lot of information through this.
Thank you.
Now, the next speaker that we have is Dr. Ashish Biswas, who's a librarian in Victoria College, Kolkata, as well as an academic counselor of IGNOU. He will be, in fact, sharing his views on this. Now, I would like to introduce Dr. Ashish Biswas to the audience. Dr. Ashish Biswas is a product of Ramakrishna Mission Vidya Mandir, Belur Mott, an institution which is being run by the Ramakrishna monks in Calcutta, a very popular institute. They have presence not only nationally, but even internationally. He has obtained his PhD from the University of Calcutta, and he is the Joint Secretary of West Bengal College Librarian Association and Honorary Joint Editor of College Libraries. He is actively involved with leading organizations like Bengal Library Association, Indian Association of Special Libraries and Information Center, Indian Science Congress Association. He is also there as an academic counselor for IGNOU for the last 14 years. So there is, in fact, I've got a huge list of activities being undertaken by Dr. Ashish Biswas. I'm sure Dr. Biswas will pardon me for shortening this, because a man of his stature doesn't require basically an introduction. A very well-known name in the City of Joy as well as in his fraternity. So may I request Dr. Ashish Biswas to share his experience with us.
Thank you, Mario sir. Very good afternoon to all of you. And first of all, am I audible, Mario sir?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir. You are very much audible.
So first of all, my heartfelt thanks and respect to the organizers, especially Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir and patron of this national webinar, Reverend Dr. John Felix Raj. And my special thanks to respected Dean Sir of Arts and Social Studies, Father Dr. Susai Nagam, because Sir and along with his library team contacted several times before the idea of this webinar took the formal shape, and before we got the formal invitation, we discussed several times about the topic and etc. and other facts. Then my heartfelt thanks also to the respected Registrar Sir, Professor Ashish Mitra, and librarian Sir, Mr. Tarun Biswas, and whose name, if I not mention, it will be, I will feel guilty. That is Mrs. Sucharita De, professional library staff, who also contacted several times before this idea of this webinar got a perfect shape. And my dear Bain, because it is in Bengali it is called Didi, my respected professor and faculty of Gujarat University, Dr. Geeta Girish Gadhavi, who is the another respected speaker of today's webinar, and the participants and dear students who have participated in this webinar. So Mario sir, just tell me whether my PPT is visible?
Yes, sir, your PPT is visible. We can see it in the screen. It is there.
So let me.
Right.
It is okay. It is okay.
Yes, okay, sir.
So let me proceed with my topic. I have just shifted some words from the main theme, that is the sustainability of academic libraries in new normal. okay, just a few things. Let me introduce regarding my topic. We are dealing with the pandemic situation and we are trying to reopen our library. It's good that we have got this information that St. Xavier's University Library has already been opened and they are trying their best to provide the library services even in this typical situation. So we are transforming ourselves to the very new term that is new normal. Already my senior Ben has already discussed so many things about the scope and coverage of the new normal and whatever the situations, etc., etc. So I'm not going about the definition and the discussion about the new normal. I'm just focusing on the term, very term, that is the sustainability. Even before the starting of the lockdown period, sometimes we have faced this question that whether or is there at all any need of the libraries, especially the academic libraries in this age of internet, whenever everything we are getting from the Google and the web. So is there any need? So the question of sustainability is very much also there, even before the starting of the lockdown period. Whenever the lockdown period started due to this COVID-19 situation, so this question of sustainability also come forward or highlighted very much, because how the library or existence of the library, how the library services will be continued, these questions haunted our mind, especially the library professionals, that how will sustain in this situation with our all kinds of library services. So based on these questions, I have tried to point out some of the things that how library can be sustainable in this present situation, along with its importance in the academic community. So let me allow to share one popular quotation, especially I'm very much fond of one poet from my college life. He is the poet of Victorian period, Alfred Tennyson. In his famous poetry, that is The Passing of Arthur, he mentioned, or rather he lined this very popular line or common line, the old other changeth, yielding place to new. That means we have to always accommodate ourselves with a new situation. If we think that, okay, everything was good in the old situation, how we will accommodate in the new situation, it is not possible somehow, etc., etc. No, we have to think about that according to the new situation, according to the condition. We have to customize ourselves. We have to accommodate ourselves. The same thing, this present situation has challenged ourselves to change our strategy, to change our policy, to sustain our library, services, to make the academic librarian or other librarian very much important partner in the process of academic community. So my discussion should be focused on the three aspects, that is the sustainability of scholarship, collections and services, green library operations, practices and buildings, and the last point is measuring and improving sustainability. Whatever the point I thought to share, my senior Ben has already covered most of the points regarding my third point. So I will try to focus basically the first point and the second point. So regarding the first point, that is the sustainability of scholarships, collections and services. Maria sir, am I audible properly and my PPT is visible? Na? Hello?
Sir,
Yes, sir,
you
it's
please
audible.
go ahead. I can hear you.
Okay,
I can hear you.
Okay. So library, which has been considered as one of the important agencies of education, has evolved its nature and characteristics widely from ancient time to modern time. The Canon status of library needs to be remained intact in the present time, that is the new normal, by becoming an academic partner instead of just service provider. So before going to the main point, just want to share a few points regarding the primary objective of any academic institutions are from the point of view of library also, that is conservation and preservation of knowledge, expansion of ideas and dissemination of knowledge with the help of interpretation, research and publication, and dissemination of knowledge through teaching and extension services. So as I've already mentioned in my introduction, that constantly librarian has to fight with the mighty giant Google. People have that concept, okay, everything we can get from Google. But what happens? Let me see. Let us see. The libraries in academic institutions help to achieve these objectives. But in the present context, to compete with Google, academic library has to come out of its traditional role of storage and retrieval of information. To keep its importance intact, academic library has to transform its role just as service provider to becoming an academic partner. Another question is how. Let me allow to share a funny cartoon picture. One person is searching from the Google for in search of some requirement. So he is very much interested from the searching point of view from the Google, but certainly suppose he has tried to search something, but the information he has got, that is the information jungle, or better to say the explosion of information, that is suddenly blown out by the explosion of the information. Then the library professional has come to his rescue, and what the funny questions he made, do you need any help? And the person told that I think I need a shower. Here, shower is a symbolical term. That means librarian should help that person or the user how to search the proper information, or what are the ways how to judge whether the information is authentic or not, etc. etc. So this is the difference between the Google and the librarian. So already Madam has mentioned that one comment of that a librarian can bring you back the right one from the 1 lakh answers you may get from the Google, but a librarian can bring you back the right one. So this is the basic difference between the Google and the librarian. So practical implementation of the vision of the academic library as a partner in this new normal is related to the following activities which have, have an impact on the change of the library's role in academic community. How? First of all, library has to try to promote the open access, because we know that all kinds of e-resources for all kinds of libraries, small, medium college libraries, university library is a bigger organization, but it is okay. But in case of medium level college or in small college libraries, it is not possible to subscribe all kinds of e-resources. So librarian has to promote the open access resources. How it will be possible? In 21st century, a remarkable growth has found in open access movement being supported by more and more members of the academic community, but still a long way to go to enrich the open access movement. So open access is when publications are freely available online to all at no cost and with limited restrictions with regards of reuse. The unrestricted distribution of research is especially important for authors as their works get seen by more people, readers as they can access and build on the most recent work in the field, and funders as the work they fund has broader impact by being able to reach a wider audience. So all kinds of stakeholders, that is author, readers, funders, all are getting advantages or getting benefited through the open access mode of publication or the scholarly content. So academic library can take a leading role to touch that gray area, that is lack of awareness about the current practices on copyright and archiving, to promote the awareness by analyzing the publisher's copyright policies on open access. In this regard, I want to mention the one website or one portal, that is Sherpa Romeo project, which has the very good information regarding all kinds of archiving policies, open access publishing, which journals are providing you the what kind of copyright and licensing agreement, which journals are allowing you to submit in the archiving process, because the archiving policy is also very much important here. Through archiving, we can build our own institutional digital repository from where we can easily access the e-resources for our own faculty, researcher, etc., etc. Even we can also allow the others to search our own repository. So archiving policy is also very much important. But the thing is that lacuna of information. Where can I get all kinds of information? So librarian has to take the leading role by providing all kinds of instances of websites, information, etc., etc., to the required stakeholders. Basically, I want to share in a quick glance some of the very pertinent aspects of the open access. So it will be helpful for all kinds of users who are not properly aware about all these things. Gold open access actually this allowed a copyright for the article is retained by the authors and most of the permissions barriers are removed. Gold open access articles can be published either in fully open access journal or hybrid journal. So an overview of fully open access journals can be found in the directory open access journals. So some of the benefits of gold open access are there, that is increased citation and uses, which is very much important for the academicians to increase their H-index and along with the impact factor of journals, etc., etc. So easy compliance with institutional and funder mandates, then the retention of copyright by authors. Then the faster impact, as I already mentioned about the impact factor, H-index, all these things are very much associated with this impact factor, and the greater public engagement, as those without institutional subscription can access latest research, especially valuable when content affects the general public. Now coming to the green open access. Green open access, also referred to as self-archiving, is the practice of placing a version of an author's manuscript into a repository, making it freely accessible for everyone. The version that can be deposited into repository is dependent on the funder or publisher. Unlike gold open access, the copyright for these articles usually sits with the publisher or the society affiliated with the title, and there are restrictions to how the work can be reused. There are individual archiving policies by journal or publisher that determine the terms and conditions. So basic difference between the gold open access and green open access, that gold open access allowing you to retain the copyright by authors, whereas the green open access basically focuses you or help you to how to submit your scholarly publication in the archiving processes so that others can easily get your scholarly content. Now the copyright and licenses already I have mentioned, so I'm keeping this slide. Just a few things about the Creative Commons license, because this is a flexible part of the copyright policy which provides free and easy to use copyright licenses, giving the public the right to share, use, and even build upon an author's creative work. The non-profit organization Creative Commons also protects the people who use an author's work, so they don't have to worry about copyright infringement as long as they abide by the specified conditions. So licensing open access articles under a Creative Commons license has evolved as a standard for open access publishing. So academic librarian has to first of all very clearly know about that and have to inform all these things to the interested persons. Then the mandates and funding. Some of the institutions, funders and societies and organizations all over the world have adopted open access mandates, encouraging or even obligating their affiliated authors to make their research and data freely available. So some of the open access mandates focus on either the green or the gold model. Others give their authors the option to choose between the two routes. So in this regard, ROAR-MAP, that is the Registry of Open Access Repositories Mandatory Archiving Policy, is a very good website. Interested persons can visit this website and get all kinds of pros and cons regarding the funding, where from they get the funding, etc., etc. They can get the information regarding the funding. Then some of the checklist, because sometimes this type of concept may arise. If I publish our articles in the open access journals, will it be same qualitative like the subscription based printed journals? But this type of concept is not right. If you have that still have some doubt, you can check whenever you are publishing any article in the open access journals. Suppose one very good site is that COPE, that is Committee on Publication Ethics. You can check this site and whether the particular journal that is in open access mode, they are following certain ethics and norms, etc., etc., and whether they have registered in this particular site, you can check. Another site is that Think, Check and Submit. So you can also check from this site. Another few good site, that is Open Foundation, Open Air, Waster. So you can check all these sites about the open access journal, open access books, etc., etc. So your doubt about the quality, about the whether it is peer reviewed or not, so you can get the authentic idea from all these sites. Now, related to the open access publishing and open access content, another related part is that open data. Most of the national governments, they are providing their all kinds of policies, national information through their own portal. Like the one portal I want to mention here, that is the data.gov.in. This portal, if we open this portal, we can get all kinds of government initiatives, projects, their policies, etc., under a single umbrella, that is the single portal. So open data regarding the various government initiative can be accessed visiting all those sites of the respective governments. Now, the open education and education resources, which has been very much important in this pandemic situations, whenever we are not properly using the physical services in the library, these open educational resources has come to a very beneficial situation or advantageous situation. There are so many open education resources. I am not going into detail, just wanting to mention here, that is web lectures, open content, open education resources, open courseware, and network digital library of thesis and dissertation. This type of sites are also there. One site here I have mentioned, that is www.ndltd.organization. So if anyone interested to start his research, to find out the research gap, this site he or she can visit that to get an idea that whatever the researchers has already been done in a particular area. Then the massive online open course, which is also very much helpful, and the pet project of our MHRD through various courses are getting offered through this online platform. Students, faculties, they can take part and get some enriched knowledge completing this type of courses. So all these are the open access mode, and librarian should take care about that, so that his importance, his knowledge should be taken into consideration, that he is also the part of the academic community in the process of the scholarly communication. So developing and sharing an open educational resources, this is also very important, because still a long way to go about the open access movement. So librarians should also involve this open access movement by following some of the initiatives, like institution can boost its profile by making teaching material openly available. Open education helps to prospective students choose the right program. Open lesson materials improve student success rates. Open education resources make it possible to differentiate the teaching on offer and to tailor it to the students. Making lessons material publicly available has been shown to boost their quality. Open education improves educational innovation. Open education helps with lifelong learning. And obviously, the copyright issues has to be dealt very properly and carefully. I have already mentioned about the Creative Commons license, which provide you the flexibility about the copywriting issues. That thing has to be taken into consideration, and librarians should make aware about all these things, and he or she should discuss with the academic community. Now, best practices for the development of open education. It is also a site where you can, your institution or individual, any researcher or the faculty can register in this forum to get all kinds of information, how the open access movement can be enhanced, enriched, etc., etc. Then some of the open access publishers, Copernicus, PLOS, Biomed, Frontier, Springer, Elsevier, Wiley. Why I am mentioning this? Because the librarian and the academic community along with the library has to deal with all these things, so that there should not be any information gap or lacunas. Whatever the lacunas should be there, first of all, librarian should come forward with all kinds of information packages, and here should share with the academic community. Then the second part of my first point, that is the scholarship publication and the services. One thing I have mentioned about the possibilities of the open access mode. Then whatever the content we are getting in the offline mode or online mode, that is the scholarly contents, that in this scholarly communication process, librarian has to take a leading role. How? First of all, he has to manage the content. In academic environment, to upgrade the knowledge domain, scholarly content is regarded as the foundation for the novel text. But it does not merely mean just access to content. It indicates the whole cycle of content. And the library professionals have an effective role throughout this cycle, using professional skills developed through theoretical and practical knowledge of library and information science. The scholarly content can be managed in the following way. So this is a pictorial viewpoint of the with different steps, and each and every step librarian should play an important role. First of all, I want to focus on the academic community, who are the main generator of the scholarly community, scholarly content. They are constantly creating the new knowledge and then trying to enrich the knowledge domain. But when and how this output of the result, of the research result, their creation of the new knowledge will be available to the general masses or other academic community when it will be published. So from the academic community, I am focusing on the global publishing output. They are trying to increasing the knowledge domain by publishing in online and offline mode, whatever the new knowledge they are getting from the academic community. Then, in terms of academic and global publishing output, librarian through the library should bridge the gap. Sometimes there may be some lacunas or a lack of awareness in terms of the academic community that where to publish their scholarly content. If they publish in the certain journals and the platform, how much they will get their impact factor regarding their H index, etc., etc. So librarian will come forward that this is the place you can put your scholarly content so that you can get the maximum benefit in terms of your academic credentialability. So at the same time, librarian is providing the information about the place where the academic community will publish their journals. At the same time, librarian have to create a good communication with the global publishing and the distributors so that whatever the new knowledge they are publishing, as soon as they will get the information and they will share with the academic community, and if possible they try to collect all those resources in their library so that for the later posterity or for the later generation that can be shared, that can be distributed, etc., etc. Whenever all these tasks librarians are performing, at the same time their credentialability, their images, their importance will be increased to the academic community. So at the same time, whenever this type of research will be available easily through the library to the academic community, so academic community will be much more charged or motivated to publish or to generate more knowledge. That's why I have given this line from the academic community. Again, it is coming to the academic community. So another at the below portion, that is ... I have given here that is research-oriented investigation. That is the return of investment. That means whatever the thing librarian are playing in all those steps, whenever it is getting proper way, in a successful way, library should get the value. $sign I have used here, that means to indicate the value, increased value of the library in terms of academic library to all kinds of stakeholders, to the academic community, to the global publishers and distributors, and even to the general masses, that means the community. In this way, library, through their librarian, has to deal with their importance, that is the sustainability, that okay, Google is not everything. Librarian, you have to come to the library, you have to talk to the librarian, discuss with the librarian, then your scholarly communication process will be channelized in a proper way. You will get the maximum benefit from your scholarly content. So this is the thing. And the third point regarding my first objective, that is the creation of new library cooperation. We also know that the increased price of the certain escalating price hiking in the subscription-based journals, it is not possible for any particular library to subscribe all those resources. Okay, open access mode, I have already mentioned, that is a good alternative, but still we have to procure some subscribe-based journals or information content or resources. So in this regard, creation of new cooperation between the several libraries is very much required. That's why I'm telling that the academic libraries graduated themselves from traditional storage of information to information providers due to the information revolution brought about by development of internet and World Wide Web. So it is also well-known fact that the traditional mode of operation of academic libraries is in deep crisis. Therefore, it is important for academic libraries to form consortium due to the following reasons: continuous price increase, exponential growth in the production of information and knowledge, rapid technological development, and application of new technology. So in this, even in this pandemic situation, we can collaborate among different libraries. So whatever the resources I have and whatever the resources X have, Y have, Z have, if we can share among ourselves, so it will be very much beneficial for our own users to share all kinds of resources. Now the research support, because whatever the thing in case of scholarly communication process, research work is very important, because through the research work we all know that new kinds of information are generated. So it is not possible for individual to engage in research in his or her own endeavor. Sometimes research support is very much required. So that's why libraries should also have to provide the necessary information to the academic community about the funding agencies for the research work and how to approach them with all kinds of formalities. So it will increase the image of the library to the academic community. This will also increase their urge to talk or communicate directly with librarians. So the first objective I have completed. Now the second objective I have mentioned that in this regarding the sustainability, some of the green practices if we follow regarding this pandemic situation and the spreading of the coronavirus will be very much beneficial for the reopening of the physical library. So before going to the points, let me just mention about what is green libraries. So green libraries, according to the online dictionary for library and information science, designed to minimize negative impact on the natural environment and maximize indoor environmental quality. So I'm again repeating this phrase, maximize the indoor environmental quality, because I will discuss this phrase only. So I'm focusing this term, maximize indoor environmental quality. Anyway, by means of careful site selection, use of natural construction materials and biodegradable products, conservation of resources, and responsible waste disposal. So they also focus on social responsibility of libraries as a leaders in environmental sustainability. In country like India, where rapid growth of population is adversely affecting natural resources and environment, in the establishment of green libraries is very much essential. So here, according to the definition, whole perspective of the green libraries have been covered. But in case of just to point to the point of our sustainability aspects, I am just focusing the maximize indoor environmental quality, how that can be done following some of the green practices. So we know that indoor environmental quality is very much essential for the physical library, for its library staff and the users. But in modern library, there are so many substances which may emit a lot of toxic gases, carbon dioxide, and other chemical particulates that are very much hazardous for our health. So it may range from the natural dust to the chemical particles. Basically, in library, the indoor environmental quality, that is indoor air quality, is contaminated by the biological contaminants and chemical contaminants. Biological contaminants are basically found in the form of molds, dust mites, pollen, animal dander, and bacteria. You can see here that molds can create spores and gases in printed resources. When this type of printed resources are used by the library staff and users, these mold spores can be inhaled and it can create the respiratory problem, infection, eye and skin irritation. At the same time, chemical contents basically found in gaseous format and chemical particulates. So chemical, one of the major chemical contaminants found in libraries, that is the formaldehyde. Find when is library through the adhesive urea formaldehyde found in pressed products like particle boards, the cabinetry, trim, etc., etc. Another thing is that volatile organic compounds, that is also found in wood paneling, cabinetry, carpets, paints, glues, solvents. All these are very much hazardous for our health. Even in case of modern library, we are profusely using heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system. That is generally popularly known as HVAC system. But proper maintenance and lack of proper maintenance of the HVAC system can create a dangerous situation in case of indoor environmental quality, and even the lack of maintenance can create the imbalance in the proper humidity control. So whenever the humidity control will be affected, it will be the breeding ground for the bacteria, mites, viruses, etc., etc. Even in our library, we sometimes use strong chemicals like toxic organophosphate, carbamide, insecticide. So these kind of strong chemicals also very much affects the indoor air quality of the library. Why I'm mentioning all these things? Because whenever your indoor air quality of your library will be contaminated, it will be a spreading ground for the viruses and other bacteria, etc., etc. So in this pandemic situation, it will be very much dangerous for our physical library if all these things are not maintained properly. So some of the steps we can take following the green practices, that we have to regularly clean our library floor, furniture, resources, so that it should be clean and healthy situations. The viruses, that bacteria and the mold, spores, etc., etc., should not be grown in the library or spread in the library. Even the as I have mentioned, that volatile organic compounds, which are very much dangerous for our health. In case of following the green practices in the market, several low VOC or zero VOC are available. We can use that low VOC or zero VOC for burnishing or painting our furniture and other equipments in the library. In case of instead of using the strong chemicals, we can use the eco-friendly pest control system. Neem leaves is a very good option in Indian scenario. And in case of HVAC system, as I have mentioned, if we can reduce the use of HVAC system, or we can supplement, or we can think about the alternative system in the indigenous method in Indian scenario. We have several good palaces in Rajasthan, Gujarat, and Mughal architecture. There we have seen so many good architecture of the provision of the air ventilation, the lattice screen, jharukhas, water body, open courtyard, and obviously the provision of the proper daylighting system. Because we know the coronaviruses, several researchers has already been said that in proper daylight, it may be it spreading maybe, or it activity may be lessened. So use of proper daylight in the library should be allowed, but at the same time, it should be allowed in the library, avoiding the glare and the glaze of the sunlight, because we also know that the proper sunlight or the direct sunlight can affect our printed resources and other materials available in the library. So we can have to allow the sunlight in the library in a systematic way. So in our palaces, you can see here the lattice screen is used to allow the sunlight in a soft way. Jharukhas in the palaces of Jaisalmer, I have taken this photo. So it's a wonderful example. So we can also think about all these things for our library, so that our physical library can be in a healthy situations, and the spreading of coronavirus can be minimized, at least following all these steps. It is not very hard, or it is not very luxurious plans. Few simple steps, few simple methods we can follow regarding all these green practices, so that our library's environment can be a very healthy situation. In this way, the physical library, the physical services through the library can be in a sustainable mode. So one thing is very important also, that what kind of resources we will think in this situation whenever we are trying to reopen our library in the new normal situation. So far in the full lockdown situation, there is no question of opening our library. So basically we have focused on the online resources, but whenever we are trying to open our library in a new normal situation, so along with the online services, we have to deal with the physical services. Whatever the printed resources we have in our library, we try to maximize their uses with care and safety. That's why the selection of the collection is very important. And some of the cases, whatever the printed resources we are not using in a library, we can discuss at this point, because as far as possible, library should be airy. The congested aspect should be avoided. So obsolete, content-wise obsolete, and the information, it may happen that the physical condition of the printed resources is not. Immediately we have to discard all those things following the norms and condition, whatever the things are available with the weeding system. Now, the next part is the selection of the format. Whether we will fully go for the electronic resources, or we will also think about the printed resources. I think there should be a coherent convergence between the online resources and printed resources, because both have their advantage and disadvantage. Okay, we know that in this situation, whenever the physical library is not getting properly used, so at that time online resources may be helpful. But in terms of green practices, whenever we are using so many things in the online platform, it can create the in a certain level some greenhouse gases. So in terms of environmental factor, the Indian environmental quality, so we can also take into consideration that our printed resources should be utilized following the safety measures, which I will come to the later positions. So here my suggestion is that there should be a coherent convergence of the printed resources along with the online resources. Now, the third point, that is the preparation for reopening in new normal. My senior Ben, Dr. Gadhavi, already have very elaborately from the global perspective has pointed out all these things. So just I may wanted to mention that formulate library policy, handling materials, storage problem of return books, access of books in the library, the belongings, recommended isolation period for library materials and its arrangement, how we can use the computer equipment. Just I want to focus this point, because it has been found by the researchers that coronavirus is very much active on the hard surfaces. So computer is a computer keyboard and the screen is very much hard surface. So we have to allow the usage of our computer whenever we are trying to reopen our library with very much care. If it is allowed to use that, after one user is getting or using that computer, it should be regularly or time to time it should be sanitized. And as far as possible, the readers will be encouraged or motivated to use their own laptop, use their own Android phone in the library, so that they can avoid the computer terminals in the libraries. Those who have not this facility, they will be allowed to use that computer in a very safety manner. And after his or her use, every time that computer terminal should be sanitized properly. Then the staff safety, it has already been covered by our previous speaker, so I'm not mentioning all these things again in details. The maintain social distancing to delivery library services and calculation library users to provide access, and limit of entry users. One point I want to mention here, that how we can limit entry of users. In Slovakia, Poland and Belgium, their government has directed that one person will be allowed in terms of the open space available in the library. So they mentioned that for 15 square meter, one person will be available or will be allowed. That means if in a library 60 square meter open space is available, so at a time 4 library users will be allowed in the library. And at the same time, we can set some time that you will be allowed only 30 minutes or 25 minutes so that next lot of users can enter into the library. At the same time, in case of academic library, we can divide the slot according to the class, according to the semester, subject, etc., so that the rush can be avoided in a systematic way. We can start our library services in a safety and secured manner, so that all kinds of users and the staff should be in a safe position. So in conclusion, I want to mention regarding the sustainability, that sustainability of academic libraries regarding the functioning of them and making themselves relevant to the academic community is a reality by firmly involving themselves in the content cycle. The academic libraries have to be a connecting hub in the process of scholarly communication. So that's the academic libraries will spontaneously be considered by the academic community as the partner in terms of scholarly communication. The acknowledgement as academic partner will never reduce the role of academic library in the academic institutions. So in the new normal, some green practices and safety measures should also be taken to continue the functioning of library in a safe way. Thank you. Thanks to the organizer and the participant and my co-speaker for patiently listening. I don't know whatever the things I have shared at all, it is some have value regarding the topic or not. The feedback, I think, will be given by the participants and the organizer. Thank you. Thank you.
So thank you so much for, in fact, starting off your deliberation with that famous quote of Lord Tennyson, "Old order changed, yielding place to the new." And Dr. Biswas, during his deliberation, has spoke about the role of library in the present context. It should act as an academic partner, not only as a service partner, though the fight with Google will continue. So the librarians have a very major role to play as far as the fight with the Google partner is concerned. And he also dwelt upon the advantages of open access, and he has shared with us few sites for various research assignment. And he has also mentioned during his deliberation that the library of an academic institution acts as a fulcrum between the community and the global publishing output. And we had a wonderful, in fact, slides on, in fact, Green Library, which is again the talk of the town. Today, the entire world is concerned about pollution and the other area of the work. And he has, in fact, shared with us some wonderful lead on Green Library and urged us to imitate the green practices which is in vogue in various historical building. And I was really excited that he was quoting example from Gujarat. So ma'am must be feeling proud. And he has also, in fact, said that the online resources and the printed resources should go hand in hand. And if there is any cleanliness assignment which the academic library is intending to undertake, should be undertaken now. And he has also shared few leads about reopening of the library after the pandemic, and he was sharing an example of Slovakia. So those examples may be taken into consideration in order to make our library viable, accessible, and reachable to the target audience. So now, thank you so much for your wonderful deliberation. We are really honored by your gracious presence. Now, I would like to request the audience to pin their questions to two of our eminent speakers. So now the floor is open for question answers. Now, when you're asking your question, please introduce yourself, who you are, and you're from which academic institution. So we would be happy to know that you belong to such and such institution and you are so and so. So now it is over to all our attendees who are spread far and wide on this virtual platform.
बस कितने बजे छोड़ती है? अच्छा, वो एक वेबिनार चल रहा है, सब पे वहाँ पर बैठा है, So just maybe another 10 minutes. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So can we have some questions from the audience, please?
No questions means two possibilities are there. Rather, we have not completed our job effectively, or we have done our job very effectively.
Right. Exactly.
I think it's clear to the audience, I suppose. You have done a good job, both of you. So Mario could go to the final stage.
Right, Father. So, Father, since there are no questions from the audience, as ma'am has very nicely coined that either they have understood whatever we have shared, or we were not in a position to impress as to what we were intending to communicate.
Right.
So, Father, with your permission, can I propose the vote of thanks because there are no questions?
Okay, sir. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Father. Thank you so much. So it gives me immense joy and satisfaction to propose the vote of thanks to our eminent speakers, Dr. Geeta Girish Gadvi, Associate Professor and HOD, Department of Library and Information Science, Gujarat University, and Dr. Ashish Biswas, Librarian, Victoria College, Academic Counselor, Indira Gandhi National Open University, for taking out time from the busy schedule and enlightening us on this burning subject. This program was conceptualized by a team of committed librarians, Mr. Torun Biswas, Mr. Shayon, Ms. Sucharita, under the dynamic leadership of our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Reverend Dr. John Felix Raj, and Reverend Dr. Susai Nayagam, Dean, Arts and Social Studies, and Director, Department of Library. Ms. Sucharita played a key role in roping illustrious speakers under the guidance of our mentors. You have indeed made us proud, Sucharita. With the influx of COVID-19, IT professionals across our society are working tirelessly to keep us connected with the new normal. I wish to extend a special thanks to Mr. Molay Mitro, Head IT Department, and his folks, Mr. Shudeep, Mr. Abhishek, for helping us to interface with our extended family spread throughout the length and breadth of the country through the virtual platform that is Facebook, YouTube, etc. Mr. German Emanuel has indeed demonstrated his exemplary technical skills by keeping us connected uninterrupted during the session, or else we would have had to say sorry for the interruption or रुकावट के लिए खेद है. We appreciate your contribution, German. The IQAC team led by Dr. Tanushree Biswas, Dr. Tuhin Utsav Pal deserves a big round of applause for helping us to showcase this event successfully. I shall fail in my duty if I do not extend my sincere thanks to the wonderful audience from various academic institutions for being with us online and augmenting the very purpose of this national webinar. Last but not the least, thank you one and all. I wish to quote 4th century Tamil poet Avuyar. I quote, what we have learned is handful, but what we have yet to learn is worldful. St. Xavier's University, Kolkata wishes you and your loved ones good health and happiness. Stay healthy and stay safe. Now, all the participants who have participated in this webinar shall be provided with an e-certificate. We have already shared the link, so kindly fill up the feedback form and send the feedback form to us. You shall be receiving the e-certificate by next week. Thank you one and all for your gracious presence, and our special thanks to eminent speakers Dr. Geeta Girish Gadvi and Dr. Ashish Vishwas, and of course our Dean Father Dr. Susai Nayagam as well. Thank you, Father. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And
Thank you,
everyone.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you very
Thank
much.
you, Mr. Mario,
Thank you
sir.
very much, you, sir,
Thank
for your wonderful way you guided this program.
Thank you.
Yes.
Literally, you let us
Thank
nice.
you.
Big applause for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yes,
Father. I'm
obvious,
honored.
obvious.
Thank you.
And thank you, my dear speakers. You have done a good job. I think all the participants have profited a lot. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
God
sir.
bless.
May I know how many participants have attended this program?
I don't know. We'll find out. I don't know.
Yeah.
In fact, when Dr. Vishwas was giving his deliberation, we had around 435 participants.
What a situation. That's good. Very good. Very good. Congratulations. Congratulations.
so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
So-
Good of you. Thank you very
And
much.
and we hope that this university will one day will be a international figure, because they have that capability and endeavor. The lot of stalwarts like Professor Felix, Dr. Susai Nayagam, he is a very dynamic. I know him from the year 2015. From very small interaction with him occurred in 2015. From them only, I know that he is a very dynamic person, and he, under his guidance, library will also be a, as I have mentioned, that it should be a scholarly communication hub. It will be created in this university, and obviously the university will be an international figure we want to see in this position. And all the best wishes for the university, and our heartfelt thanks for the organization for giving this remarkable opportunity. Whether I'm saying the remarkable opportunity because with Dr. Gadhavi, I'm very much junior in comparison with her. So I also given this opportunity to deliver my speech in the university platform. So I am very much grateful to all of the organization, and especially Dr. Susai Nayagam, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
In
God
fact,
bless.
Dr. Vishwas, in fact, Dr. Ashish, you have introduced me this university. Otherwise, who will come to know that who is Geeta Gadvi, right? So, thanks to you.
No, it's okay. Your name is already known to all over India, madam.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Father. Thank you, ma'am. So with your permission,
Okay.
in fact, we are signing out. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Fine. Thank you.
Thank you.